Welcome to the sunny side of freedom. We are here with some of the most amazing veterans. That's right. We are recapping and rejoining after the sunny side of freedom meetup number 3 in the state of Georgia. Actually, a week ago today, we were all departing ways, and I'm happy to see all their faces. Feels like we're around the bonfire again. So, thank you for joining us today. Stick with us. We got some fun to share with all of you and amazing experiences. We're going to go around the table and say hello to everyone. Chief, I'm going to kick it over to you. And I know this is your third meetup, but you can share a little bit about that with us.
Yeah, happy Sunday. It's been a week. It went by really fast, and it feels like the meetup never happened. It went by so quickly, and I got back home, and it's like, wow, I already miss everybody. I'm ready to go to another one, you know?
Well, what made you come out the third time?
It's always a good time. It's more than just meeting new people. I get to reconnect with some others, like Scooter was at the second. Scooter and I also served together. Chris was at the second meetup, so it was great to see him. But, also get to meet Clyde in person, get to meet Frizz, get to meet Hal, and there's just something to that because I feel like we've already got these relationships or friendships online, through TikTok, but then now it's, you get to take it that next step and meet in person, and anytime I get out of the house and I can hit the road and go meet up with folks, that's a good cause in my book.
Absolutely. Pretty freaking amazing. And while I have you right now, and I think this is probably what I'll do as I go around with you guys, you know, you just kind of alluded to the fact anytime you get to hit the road, the experience, whether it's a mental, emotional, physical feeling for you. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I use the road as therapy, and just to break that isolation of just staying at home, not having company, not really talking to people, and get out there and I call it pavement therapy. I get to take in the sights and I'm in control. It's better for me than, taking an airplane where, I can be delayed or whatever the case. I don't mind the extra time because I get the scenery, I get to work through my thoughts and process everything. And this last time it was a little bit different because I actually had Scooter with me. So we listened to a little bit of music, we had a little bit of conversation, and we really did make the most of the trip on the road. It's like I said, it's therapy in itself.
Most certainly. And would you come back for a fourth?
I mean, 3rd time was a charm, but yes, absolutely, absolutely, I would. I take something different away every time, This time, I I noticed what you always talk about when you take a step back and you get to watch people make these connections because it's not all about me. It's nice to see other people building connections, seeing Arlen here talking with Hal or even with Scooter or Frizz or Chris. It's like you step back and it's like, this is an awesome network. It's really diverse, but it's not all about one person, and it continues to grow, which I think is amazing.
Thank you, Chief. And for those of you watching us, that is Sunny, something that Sunny says all the time. I give front row seat as the organizer of uniting veterans across the nation and getting our veterans together. Starting off on the platform, I host a Veterans Live every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, but then taking them and those connections off the platform and meeting in real life. This was our third meetup. It was a very successful meetup. Wonderful relationships were built, and I think long lasting friendships as well. So we're going to go on over to Clyde, hear a little bit from him. Hello, my friend. Actually, I call him Clyde. That's his TikTok name. What would you like me to call you for YouTube?
You can call me Arlen. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay, Arian, go for it.
Um, um, so yeah, I this was my first meetup, and it will not be my last. It was absolutely awesome. It was more than I expected from the minute I first came into the lives and on TikTok and heard about it, and I asked Chief about it. He pointed me in the right direction, and then got a phone call from Scooter. We talked. I felt like we talked for like we'd known each other for years. in that very first phone call. It was just awesome. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous at first, but then, like I said, once I had that phone call with Scooter, it was like I felt like we'd known each other forever, and we just that conversation just picked up, and I feel like it was a lot of that familiarity of similar backgrounds, even though he's a seaman and I'm not. It's just the way it is. um, but that similar background, similar experiences, and that sort of thing. And then when we got to the meetup, it was obviously we'd interacted with each other online and that sort of thing. But when we got to the meetup, it was just like I'd known these guys forever. And I don't. I think I remember somebody saying it. I don't remember who it was, but we came into that. We came in on Thursday as essentially strangers. I didn't know any of these guys. I know a couple of them had known each other for a while, worked together, and we left as a family. And I just that was the best way I know to describe it. It was just absolutely awesome.
So you said two things. Well, actually, you said a lot, and I appreciate all of that. And I agree. What would you say this experience has meant to you?
Just a deep connection, um, the camaraderie. It was an instant bond for me, um, and that camaraderie and continuing that even when we left, in our group on our group chat online, all those things. And for my own personal experience in my unit, I've lost touch with a lot of them, you know, and to have that connection of brotherhood, community, that bond, was big for me.
That's awesome, and I do love hearing that. You also said the word hesitation, right? Like you were hesitant, you weren't really sure. So for those veterans that might be watching this today, what would you say to them?
It is a little bit, with there's so much negativity out there in the world, online, social media, um, and for that reason, I was a little bit nervous. But since I was very first introduced into this community through Chief's Music Therapy Live, this has been the most welcoming, supportive um, family. I will call it a family, that I have seen. And what you see or what I have witnessed on the interactions that I've had online through TikTok or texting or whatever, these people are the same. It's not a fake personality. You're getting the same people, the same personalities. And for me, that was huge.
That's awesome. Thank you. Scoot, scoot. We're on you, my friend.
I'm doing well. How are you,
I'm good. What brought you to the second meetup?
Chief? I mean, he drove the whole way there and the whole way back, so that's exactly
Well,
how I
yeah,
got there.
physically.
Um, honestly, from the moment that I left from meetup number 2, which was my first, I was looking forward to the next one. When I had left from number 2 and I got home, I actually felt my productivity and mental state aligned a lot better. Um, It didn't go away, but I could feel it starting to ebb, and it took more work to keep that idea of productivity, the mental direction going, and, uh, so for me, a lot of it was, I mean, part of it being seeing you and Chief again, but then after I talked to Arlen, and that was, I think he described it perfect. We got on the phone, and we were on the phone for our first call ever was an hour, a little over an hour. Um, and I think that is kind of the core of the veteran community is you can go to having those conversations, and it's like you first get to a new unit and you meet the person that's taking you around to check you in or whatever. You get an opportunity to talk to them before everyone else. Um, And that just kind of starts laying that groundwork. And then you get excited to meet the next person, the next person, the next person. Now, all of us had, and I think it's a wonderful thing. Part of coming to one of these meetups is getting to know people from the Friday night Veteran Live, people coming in to Chiefs Music Lives, Saturday morning coffee talk. All the things that we have is an opportunity through the course of every week to kind of get to know each other a little bit more. I believe veterans as a whole, we have the ability to connect a little bit quicker with fellow veterans, even with the negativity in the world. I felt like that kind of pulled more the negativity would I didn't want to talk to civilians as much, and so you helped with that a lot. But yeah, that's what brought me was I was definitely going to make the next one, and I'll definitely make the next one. The only way that I would not quote unquote be at one is if we needed a space for another veteran. I would happily give that spot, maybe, come by the day or something like that. But I truly believe in this mission, and seeing the help that it does, I would give my spot to someone who's never been able to attend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I was happy to see you there again. And I'm happy to hear that you're going to want to come back. And kind of like what I asked Clyde, there's still a lot of hesitation out there. And I'm just going to quickly plug this in. I'm a civilian, here's a civilian. And I can see why that would be difficult to trust. A civilian and a female at the same time. So there's a few different things there, but you have all embraced my message. You've all put in the time, not necessarily into my platform, but into yourselves. Number one, you recognized that there was something that you were getting from attendance. And I'm not even talking about the meetups initially, but just the participation in the lives. And like you said, strengthening those bonds online, live after live, being in participation, engaging, getting to know each other, that then there's a different element of excitement to finally get to meet in person. And you're right, like Clyde said, it feels like family. And I'm glad that that's happened for all of you. First time, second time, third time, because that's what it's about. It's about building strong connections in a world where we often feel, as you said, crazy world, in a chaotic world where we often don't feel seen or heard. And so I appreciate what you said. And we'll always make room for you, Scoop. I want you to know that. If I have to get another cabin or I'll get you a tent, we'll always make room for you. So thank you so much. We're going to say hi to Hal. Hello, Hal.
Howdy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So, yeah, this was my first meetup. I definitely enjoyed it. I'll definitely do another one in the future, hopefully. But yeah, just to kind of echo what uh, Arlen was saying, like, it's crazy how, you meet people for the very first time and there was no awkwardness. Even that very first night when, I met Scoot and Chief, the second they got out of the car, I felt like we had known each other forever, but we had never actually met. And then the other interesting takeaway that I took from this meetup was the military as a whole and the veteran community as a whole is huge, but at the same time, it's really small. And I thought it was really interesting that there was four of us at this meetup that were all at the same duty station at the same time at some point overlapping, and we never knew that we had potentially crossed paths. So I thought that was kind of interesting because shared bond of connection right away. Um, so yeah, I thought that was pretty neat.
And I love hearing that, by the way. I don't think you shared that with me. I think that's the first. I thought there was only maybe two. So that was pretty cool to hear. Um, you had
Yep.
initially reached out to me, and I haven't actually announced it yet since we've started, but this particular meetup was actually hosted over in Gingershack Farms, and this was in Georgia. And I want to say thank you to you and your sister for the hospitality. This was your host state. You welcomed us with open arms. And again, we were strangers. We had never met. This was your very, very first meetup, not knowing what to expect. And here you are welcoming us into your little nook, your safety space. And you shared it with all of us. And I think the consensus across the board was this place is amazing. So I want to say a huge thank you to you for that, for reaching out and say, Sunny, I got a spot. So thank you. We all thank you. And the mission thanks you because, for those that have never actually participated in an SSOF meetup, that's really what it's about. It's about finding a location that allows us to ground and find healing. And of course, the connections that are there. And that was an amazing spot. So, if you had the opportunity to speak to another veteran about possibly attending a meetup, the hesitation's always there. What would you say to them?
Um, so I would say, so ever since I left the military, I've become extremely introverted and pretty much isolate. And so I liked the idea of doing one of these meetups, but I was always kind of afraid of, what if I get there and I don't get along with anybody, which selfishly is part of the reason that, I offered my house basically, because if it didn't work out, I could walk away, but that didn't happen at all. And so if you're worried about, feeling out of place or whatever, like others have said, it's like getting together with your family, even though you've never met. Um, so if you're hesitant, just, you know, take the plunge and just go for it. You're not going to regret it.
As I often say, take a leap of faith. You're worth it. You
Yep.
know, it's an experience and you get to talk about it, whether it's positive or negative. I always feel that even those experiences that don't turn out the way we wanted, there's something to learn there. So I just want to say thank you again. And I'm so happy that you were a part of your very first mission over in Georgia. So thank you. We're going to go on over to Chris and say hello. Chris has joined us now for the second time. The first time we were in the state of Mississippi. Hello, my friend.
Hello. Yes, this is the second time around. And like everybody else was saying, the first meetup, I was really nervous about it, kind of skeptical. Just met everybody on the TikTok there on your channel and had been following for quite a while before the the first meetup I went to. So, and everybody was exactly who they were online, so it worked out great.
And I was so happy to see you again. And yes, you have been supporting me for quite some time. So you had a feeling of like what people were like while they were on the Veterans Live, for instance, interaction with our content as content creators, what we're putting out there, the messaging. And I know that you were nervous the first time, and you just seemed like, I'm ready, I'm packed, I'm going to the second one. And we joke a lot with Chris. Chris always has like every coffee you can imagine. We will never run out of coffee. And I actually said to him, I said, you don't even need to bring it. That's the hospitality Sonny's talking about. I'm like, they got us all K cups. We were equipped. He's like, no, I got my coffee. So it's become kind of like your thing now, your staple. Like, what's the coffee of the day, Chris?
And a coffee pot.
And the
Got,
coffee pot. Yeah.
gotta have the 12-cup pot.
Yeah. Well,
K-cups just won't do it.
so, let me ask you, this is now your second. What type of experience are you getting out of it when you joined? Because you came back, so you got something out of it the first time.
No, it was just the new friendships. Like I said, I was nervous the first time because never met any of you guys in person before. So, but once we got together and we all had some conversation and whatnot, it was just like family. And I wanted to come back and see my family. And now I have 4 new members of family. So I'd love to meet some of the ones that were at the first meetup.
And I'm sure you will, my friend. I'm sure you will. The power of the word family, guys, is not a word we throw around loosely. We all have family. We have biological family. And something that we often spend some time on, whether it be on our Saturday morning coffee talk, both myself and 420 Chief, we host that every Saturday morning. We talk about real conversations, real interactions, real things that we are challenged with, that we go through. And sometimes you can have an entire village of family biologically and yet have no connection. So the power of connection in an instance like this is pretty significant when you think about it. When you can take people who have spent countless hours investing in themselves, but investing in others and taking the time to join these online lives, whether it is through music therapy, which is hosted by our own very over here, 420 Chief, 3 times a week, Mondays and Thursdays and Saturdays, giving us a space to come together again in the chat, interacting, like sit back, enjoy the music, which has proven to be so beneficial. On so many levels, so many levels. But then every time you're all joining, of course, Sunny's lives and coming together to meet new veterans, and they see you. They see you. And like you said, when you guys come together, you see, I'm like, well, if they're trusting in this, why should I should possibly look into this as well. Because there is a lot of hesitation out there. There's a lot of hesitation, not for any one specific reason, but I think that we as a society have a trust issues. We do. We live in a crazy world. We don't trust people. And I've often heard all of you say, when you leave the military, you didn't have to worry about who had your six. But then when you get into this chaotic world, it's like, who's got your six? And I actually talked about this the other day. I think it was yesterday on Coffee Talk where I said, I've never felt that as a person. I have never felt like somebody had my six. But when I'm at these meetups, surrounded by such amazing individuals, I don't have to worry about anything, not the bears in the woods, nothing. I feel very protected. So, not that I've served or can understand what you've all experienced as someone who has served and that brotherhood and sisterhood, but I have felt the safety net of what it's like to be around all of you. And for that, I say thank you. And Chris, I hope to see you at the next one. So I'm going to go on over to Mr. Frizz. This was your first meetup, sir. I'm so happy that you joined us.
I was glad to join. Excuse me, I haven't spoke very much today, so my voice is raspy. But yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it.
And I'm happy. And don't let him fool you. He sings in the shower all night long. Then he comes on. He's like, I'm raspy today. That's just a joke.
It's that metalcore that I sing,
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. I was really happy that you joined us and you brought your service animal with you. You brought little Beans with you, and we were all so excited. She was like, we've been hearing about Beans forever, and then there she was, little Bean.
Well, she loves everybody, as you could tell. She loves food, but she's not always friendly with other dogs. So she got in a big fight before, like right before we came, got all tore up. I'm like, you have to embarrass me, don't you? It's just like a kid.
Well, I'm glad you brought her, and there was a lot of love to be shared around for her. We were happy to see her. We had 2 service animals. We had our striker. We love our striker. That's 420 Chief's baby. And we had our emotional support animal. We got baby Boo Spike, as I call him, Spike. And then we had Beans. And, after they got through their own embrace what's going on, change of environment, lots of strangers, they did really, really well from Thursday to Sunday. So I was really happy about that. But I'm going to go back to you. What type of impact did this have on you attending a meetup?
Oh boy, it was a feeling that I didn't expect to have. It was an impact of when I came back. there was so much going on in my head about when we going to do this again? When will I be able to do this again? Because the level of comfort that I felt the moment we stepped out of the truck, I didn't expect. I expected, get used a little um insecure type things from everybody, but it was just like old home week. And when I was on the way home thinking about it, I kept thinking about, I need to get out more. And it was a good thing to get out and experience new places and new people, even though the people felt like I've known you guys for forever, like we were served together.
Yeah. All of you actually, and we're missing one here today. Unfortunately, couldn't be here, but um, prior to this meetup, I expressed, especially for the new ones that were going to be in attendance, and I said, I wish I had the words to express what you're going to feel. And I really hate to do that for people. I hate putting words in people's mouth. I really want the experience to come from them, which obviously this is why I'm doing what I'm doing today. I want those watching or maybe sitting back watching and in hesitation. I want it to come from all of you, the feeling, the experience, how it's helped you in different areas of your life. And I love hearing that this is maybe sparked something in you, which is saying, I need to get out more and socialize more or connect more, because at the end of the day, we understand why we self-isolate for many reasons, experiences, previous experiences and whatnot, but we've tapped into something, this specific event, and we do every time we're together, which is people need people, people need connection, the right connections. And we tapped into feelings, which is not something we talk about, guys. But the one thing is clear from the meetup. I heard all of you say, I love you. I love you, brother. I love you, man. The word love is thrown around like marshmallows around the campfire. No one's afraid to use the love word. That's right, because love is an expression. And when we have the ability to actually feel that from people we didn't even know, it's pretty remarkable. There's such a power and connection. Um, so thank you all. That's going to conclude our round one. We're going to segue ourselves into nature, the adventure. I personally find so much healing and grounding. Why Sunny, from day one, chose to go this route. I never wanted to have these big functions with lots of crowds or speakers or anything like that. I've always wanted the grounding because it's where I found my own healing. I found my healing on a kayak. I found my healing on a hike, on a walk, one with nature. And I truly believe in that. And that's what I wanted to share with all of you on my first meetup, my second, and now my third. And now I want to hear from all of you, stepping outside your comfort zone, which is your home, wherever it is. And we're in all different states here. Um, and taking that step, that leap of faith. But what did it mean to you, or what type of experience did you get from being in that specific setting? Chief?
Well, for me, first off, I want to pair that with a, a recap of what everyone kind of agreed upon, and that is that sense of comfort. That's really what it is. We were together in a safe place with that camaraderie with to where we felt not just comfortable enough to talk, but just to let our guard down enough to have a good time. And it's something that Scooter and I had talked about from the second meetup. When you meet certain people, you get this certain sense of, I got your six. We don't have to discuss this. We're trained. And now I feel comfortable sitting next to Arlen, knowing he's got my back, you know? And it's just a whole group of that to where we can simultaneously let our guard down, knowing, we'll take care of one another. We don't have to be on alert. And so I thought that was the biggest thing for me, was like that sense of comfort that allowed us to then embrace, the nature. And we talk about this all the time in Coffee Talk, and I do my daily videos raising awareness to the veteran suicide crisis, where I do the 22 push-ups that everybody's doing now. But if you pay attention every single video, I'm outside somewhere doing something. I don't always leave the house, but I do go outside into the woods or down by my creek, or I'll go to the park with the dogs and be out in nature. And that helps me kind of get grounded. That helps me relax. That paired with this sense of camaraderie and comfort, um, Gingershack Farms was the ideal location. The first thing I noticed when we pulled in, other than the awesome Chevy truck sitting there, was the creek that went through it, the cold stream. Um, it was peaceful. I love that. Water just puts me in like serenity. It's tranquil for me. And we pulled in and crossed the creek. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. And then the cabins were beautiful. They'd done a really good job going all in. They had the fire pits, everything was very squared away, very clean. And you know, nature helps ground you. It reduces the stress, helps bring, for me, clarity. It helps to block out all the negative thoughts and focus on more positive thoughts. And so, like, the only bad thing is it just seemed too short. It was good feelings for that Thursday night for myself. Friday, I guess it was Wednesday night I got there. Wednesday night, I felt comfortable after I met Hal and got checked in. It was nice and clean and peaceful. I even went back outside, made a new friend. Um, but there's no distractions out there. You're so far out. The distractions are nature, and that's beautiful. I loved hearing the goats, which didn't make a lot of noise. There were some rabbits, there were some chickens, but we had the
Don't
bonfire. We
forget,
had
don't forget, Chief Rooster Lou.
Rooster Lou, delicious. But I don't know. I think that just helps to allow people to talk more freely and openly about anything and fully be present in the moment, and take in that feeling of security, of camaraderie, of love, whatever. So all of it put together, and even that location was above average nice. I'm just gonna say that. Like, it was above average. There's your expectations, and Ginger Shack Farms was up here, and the level of support that Hal gave and that his sister gave, and she tried to stay out of it, but she helped so much. It's like I kind of wanted her more involved because she was so cool. But it just made it that much better and less worry. So it's like worry free the entire time.
I love hearing that. And yes, I have to agree. Your sister Hal was like my angel. I'm like, what? And not only are you giving us the beef roast, you prepared it, you put it in the pot already. I'm like, I love you. I went to at all my meetups. Um, you know,
She's the best.
she really is, and you did tell me that, and I had the pleasure of speaking to her at length probably 3 times before the meetup, but I couldn't that was a new person for me. I'm like, here I am in my own state, and, I'm trusting in the location that you are both residing at and just hoping that it's gonna be what I want it to be for this meetup because I have it all in my head, and it's not till I get there, and like Chief said, you get there and it's like, "Oh my god." I think the first thing I'm like, "This is heaven." There's running water. And then, of course, I got super excited because I saw goats. And I heard the chickens and I was like, "Yes, this is what I'm talking about." It was just amazing. And yes, I agree with all of you. It feels too short, but what's most interesting to me as I gear our viewers up for the next meetup, I'll get the same questions. Well, what do you guys do there? Because Thursday to Sunday sounds kind of long. And it's like a blink of an eye. I got back and I'm like, I feel like like I was just talking about how we have 2 weeks to the next meetup. I'm like, I'm back from it. How did that even happen? But it did. And that says a lot. It says that we wanted more. It says that we need more of that. So it warms my heart. And it obviously, as somebody who had this vision for my mission, which is uniting veterans, it's like, yes, I can't even tell you guys in silence how often in viewing all of your interactions from Thursday to Sunday, my heart was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Seeing you guys talk, seeing you guys laugh. It was just amazing. And consider myself very, very blessed to be able to do this for all of you, I have to say. And thank you for believing in me continuously to keep doing this. So thank you for that. We're going to go on over to Clyde. Talk to me a little bit.
I'm just going to reiterate what Chief said. The being out there, when you pulled into the property, and I grew up out in the country, 20 miles. The closest neighbor was a mile and a half away. So that was like perfect for me. And we pull out there, and the creek's running through there. You cross over the bridge. Everything was just amazing. And you've got the farm sounds. I grew up on a little hobby farm, so you got the chickens and the goats and all those noises and the wind breeze going through the leaves and the trees, and it's just peaceful and calm. And I completely agree with how Chief described it. That helps so much in being able to just relax and no noise from the outside world and limited connectivity for devices. And I mean, we had Wi-Fi, but outside of what we were doing, well, there wasn't a lot of that. And that was a little bit of, that was kind of nice.
It really was. Even for myself, aside from doing my daily plank with all of you, which I love doing. I actually have to post those up on my YouTube. I think I may have posted a few videos up on my YouTube as shorts, but I'd really love to capture those videos and put them up on here so everyone can see that you all planked it out with me. We're on day 446 today of Sunny planking it out, which is a mindful moment reminder to take a mindful moment for yourself. And 1 minute is not a lot to ask for, yet we don't even do that sometimes. And I do put out a message every day, touching on some type of topic, of subject, of emotional strength building, just a reinforcer that you got this. Keep investing in you. And of course, always raising awareness and bringing awareness to 22 a day in mental health matters. Our veterans' lives matter. So aside from that, we didn't spend very much time on the internet at all. We were so taken in, embracing. Actually, I use that word, embracing. You guys embraced this experience to the fullest. You were present. You were present with yourselves, with each other, and I loved that for all of you. So we're gonna go on over to thank you. We're gonna go on over to Scoop.
Okay, so how do you recap that? I what I had in my mind, and I've talked to Chief about this before, is the flow state, and that's something that we understood. Maybe not the wording, but we understood it when we deployed together, and we were uh, functioning as a well-oiled machine. And then that kind of goes away when you leave, and all kinds of other things happen, and that's not what this live is about. But getting there and then seeing everyone come in, you already have that connection that's going on, but you do get into a flow state. Everyone starts to like sync up. Um, and once that comfort level hits, that we're around people who can handle our humor, the 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 silly things that we do that would probably get you either removed from any other location, um, or at a bare minimum, make sure there would be a huge buffer. So that is still kind of there. Um, we're able to be ourselves. Um, on that note, just real quickly, Frizz, I would like to get in line to play Lady and the Tramp with you. So, you know,
Hey, whenever you want to, I'm ready. Whenever you're ready.
yes,
For you,
I got
buddy.
I got fresh fry bed right here. I'll have to make sure to figure out how to do it, and I'll come down. We'll work on that.
I'll record it.
There we go. And see it. And I think that then that bringing on to what you addressed is that you hear "I love you" a lot. And I can speak only for myself. And, Chief and I, with the history that we have living together, the whole 9 yards, I don't know that we ever really said that. You felt it, you knew it, but it was unspoken. And as we've all started to heal, I think that's what's made it okay. Emotions and feelings are something personally I felt like, and I've had it said to me, if we wanted you to have feelings and emotions, we would have issued them to you, period. And that was the end of it. So even though you felt it, you didn't express it. And through this journey of healing, and then the nature helping to, like Arlen said, that just that now we can get in there. And I think it's a huge milestone for us to be able to say it. That's that's something that we didn't say, and it took a long time. Um, Now I couldn't imagine when I have a conversation with Chief not telling him, "Hey, I love you," at the end of it, because I want him to know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I live out in the middle of nowhere, but something could happen, and so long as he knows, that's how I feel. Or, Frizz, I know him, and I've told him, "Hey, I love you too, brother." It's new, but it feels really good. And part of that came from these meetups. You get those additional connections beyond what we've already had. And to continue to push it, Gingershack Farms is definitely a place that we should look at on a consistent level. That was absolutely phenomenal. It didn't take long to get to some of the nature trails and hikes that at first, I'll be honest, I was pretty nervous about. Um, and they were not that difficult, but what beautiful scenery. And each place we stopped, the group would gather in. Um, you do your den mother routine. We, of course, yeah, except for me. I'm
Mama
I'm
bear.
just yeah, well, but I'm perfect and therefore never caused you any kind of chief about spit his coffee. Work with me.
My unruly teenagers.
Y- Everyone else was not me. I stood there in perfect formation, just awaiting your every command. And
He did
and
wear
that's
his PT belt the entire time.
yeah.
I will say.
But every time we stopped, we did get to have fun. There you
Yeah.
go. See, Chris is super safe. But
Thank
that's where the nature and connection and pulling all this together, and I think tying it in with the flow state, and now realizing it's okay for us to have emotions. It's okay for us to have feelings, and we can express that to other people, and it does feel good.
thank you. I appreciate you sharing all of that. We're going to go over to Hal, and I'll close off with some of my thoughts on everything you've all shared.
So, Scoot, it's funny that you brought up Frizz's Lady and the Tramp moment because I was going to say that was probably one of the highlights. So, yeah, we definitely need to get those pictures out. So, uh,
I'm hiding them. What are you talking about? I thought it was our dance moves on Veterans Live. Hello.
yeah, but no, for me, I think nature is my safe space. It's where I go to heal. And so to be able to share that with like-minded people with similar life experiences is truly awesome. And just to have that sense of brotherhood back, after so many years of being out of the military, it's a pretty awesome experience.
Thank you for that. Chris?
All right, what was the real question again?
Nature, the healing that you found in being where we were.
Yeah, I grew up 8 miles from the nearest town, so I'm definitely used to the outdoors. My place now, I'm probably um, 15 miles from town. I do live on a state highway, but I'm out in the sticks. Um, and Hal's place is exactly what I want to eventually, kind of like a dream home kind of area in a holler somewhere. That'd be great.
So I'm glad, first of all, that you have the opportunity to be out in the sticks. But What's the difference between you being out in the sticks and being out where we were with all of us?
Well, other than all of us being together, I mean, not a lot.
Right. And you keep coming back, so you must like that connection.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, you always seem very excited. So thank you for sharing that. Frizz, want to share some of the healing that happened for you out there in nature?
I'm not sure if I can tell them kind of stories of Scooter and I in the
No, we're gonna
woods.
skip. I don't want to know. I'm not safe enough.
No, it was I grew up in a little town in Michigan. Spent a lot of time hanging out in the woods and on the water, fishing and stuff. I was never a big hunter, but I like to take my gun, go sit in the woods, pretend I was hunting because nobody would come bother me because I had a gun. Or pew pew, excuse me. I don't know if I can say what I can say. Um, so when I got there, and the first morning I got up, it was still dark. I went and sat by the fire pit, could hear the wind rustling through the trees, the water in the stream. And it took me back to being growing up back home and how peaceful it was. And then I climbed the big hill behind the cabin, and that was pretty cool, only to find that there was more hill on top of that hill that you couldn't see from the bottom. So I came back down. But it was so nice. Then when we went to the waterfall, went on top of the Mount Ogleby or Oglethorpe. It was just, it was just, that makes me, that I think fills my cup
I
is
love
nature and animals and stuff like that.
I love that. We're going to go back up to the top, but one of the things that I often say, you guys have heard me say it, you see it in my Plank daily videos, I say lead in love and lead the way, right? What the heck does lead in love mean? Well, you're all doing it. Even if you didn't realize it from day one when you all met me, that was the plan. You were going to lead in love, and it starts with who? Who does it start with? You. That's right. Self love. It's not selfish to have self love. It starts with you. And then before you know it, you're actually leading in love and loving on other people, which is going back to what all of you said, about the word love and a word that we don't always use. But, Scooter, you're right. Today is here. It's our present. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So that's my love language with my kids or anyone that's close in my life. It's like, if you're going to hear I love you every time I talk to you. Never miss the opportunity to say those words. And going back to the space and the healing before we move on, one of the things that I observed, and I've always said to our friends, even to all of you, I have front row seat. I do a lot of observation to make sure and ensure that I'm doing what I need to do to ensure that the experience is what it's going to be for all of you. And the very first thing that I notice, probably within minutes, is shoulders. Your shoulders come down and you guys all just chill. And I'm like, they're where they need to be and they feel good. So your body language speaks volumes. At no point did I feel like somebody was anxious about where they were or who they were with or the things that we were doing. And I want to quickly just go around, and if you can point out quickly one thing, just maybe one moment that really captured you, whether it was funny, warming, or like Briz just finished saying, filling your cup. One of the activities that we did, Chief.
Talk about on the spot. Only one moment.
Okay, maybe two.
It's okay. That's a hard question. For me, it was like the whole experience. So I really enjoyed it all. I enjoyed, um, going out and hiking that day for me, we kind of really put it to each other, and everybody made it. Nobody got hurt, but we went on a couple of hiking trails. And I remember the first meetup, I actually planned a hike and I brought my pack and water and a med kit and everything. And I thought, these meetups have evolved, over time. And this time I was taken up to six. So I was the last guy, just wanted to make sure nobody was struggling back there. And I go back to find Scooter and Frizz, and everybody thinks that they're back there out of breath. Not even a little bit. They're back there like taking pictures of everybody else, and they're going slow on purpose. And I think it kind of clicked in my mind, like, look at me chiefing again. Look at me like double time back, make sure everybody's good. When in reality, I need to just let go, brother, and chill out. And so I had a moment with Frizz and Scooter, just taking it in the moment without a worry, without a care. And um, it was refreshing, I think. And it's one of those moments I'll never forget because the beauty of where we were standing with a waterfall and a bridge, with the scenery in the background, the greenery. Georgia's beautiful. We'll just say that. So, but all of that in the background paired with this feeling of not a care in the world in that moment. And I'm surrounded by amazing people, people that I want to be around, that I would consider family. And we just shared a moment there together. And so, if I have to sum up the entire thing, that's one of the many that stand out for me.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I was at the head leading, thinking, oh man, Squatch got him. The damn Squatch got him. I'm looking for you guys to come around that bridge. I'm like, we lost him. We lost two of them. What the hell? But you all three came back. I actually think I captured you guys walking back over the bridge. I took a picture of the three of you. I'm like, yes, they're coming. So thank you for sharing that.
And
Clay?
I did
Yeah.
have to share one more thing. I think
Go ahead.
another con that I found is I tried to do my best to take time, to have conversations with every individual person. And I feel like I was very successful in doing that because this was my third meetup and I had regrets from some of the past ones. But when I when I reflect on it, I realize, like with Arlen, I wanted to talk to him more, but I felt like we already had a relationship and we already knew each other almost. I'm like, I mean, we don't have to like do all this, but now I'm like, man, I wish I had more time, you know? I wish I would have had more time to
I
do
do.
that. So
And I
I
get
think,
that.
yeah, and I think that that's an opportunity, but I did want to throw that out. I forgot about that. Something that's been standing out in my mind. Like, I just wish I had more time with everyone.
I know. I know. Ah, time. Go ahead, Ariane. It's a joke,
It's
guys.
an inside joke. Yeah, I just want to go off what Chief said. It's so hard to pinpoint one specific standout moment. Um, but I'll try. The hikes were awesome. Um, I'm kind of a Scooter. I was a little nervous about that myself. You know, lower back, hip issues. That kind of made me a little nervous at first. Turned out to be not a problem. But as far as the one standout point, I would have to say when we did the Veterans Live on Friday night and the overwhelming amount of support that was, you could watch it in the chat in real time. It was absolutely awesome. And a quick number two, a very close second, was the toques we got.
The what?
The toques, the hats
Oh, the
that
beanie.
Leafs made. Those were awesome. Those were absolutely awesome. I loved it. And for me, that just again reiterated that civilian support. Yes,
Absolutely.
we are all veterans, but we without civilian support, whether when we were active duty or not, or even now, without civilian support, it doesn't work. It takes that whole team to make it work. And so that's I
I
took
love
one and
that.
turned it into three.
I love that. And there's he's wearing his boonie, his toque. It's interesting you say that because in Portuguese we say tuca. So when you said toque, I'm like, huh? Yeah, our good friend Leaves, who is a civilian, had actually made all of these. I was in connection with her, and she had them shipped to me in advance prior to the meetup so that our veterans would have them. And you know what, Leaves? A huge shout out to you. I love your heart. And they came in very handy because although the temperatures in Georgia were very fair during the day, we were in our sweatshirts at night, but there was a breezy night. And I was like, everybody's in a beanie. So very grateful for you. Thank you. And they loved them. And you know what? I have to say, when you all ended up putting them on, it matched you. As crazy as that was, like the ones you picked matched your personalities. So thank you. Scooter, any specific moment you'd like to capture for those viewing?
That is really, really difficult. And as crazy as it sounds, when Arlen just pointed out what Leafs had done for us, I guess I hadn't even kind of seen it in that way. So even though we're not there, I'm still taking away things and learning more. Um, what That's great. I don't know why I didn't notice it, but he's right. That shows that civilian support that a lot of times you think is missing. I don't know if I really could put one in particular moment. Um, there were several. That walk to the waterfall. That waterfall was a very beautiful place, and hanging back and just kind of chatting with Frizz and Chief, that was good. I I think I'll throw out one of the ones that was most kind of funny, but at the same time I thought was pretty cool, was watching Spike bound down the trail with just a leash and no Sunny attached. And all three of us at the same time go, "Oh shit."
Yeah,
We weren't sure what had happened, but
she went
here
over.
comes yeah, where is she? How did this happen? What is going on? I'm sure she's up the trail. Um,
Well,
and
can I
then
just say, Scoot, if I want you guys to catch up, that's the way to do it.
we did kind of pick up the pace. We sent Stryker out ahead with like, Stryker, go find Mama. Where's she at? Is she over the cliff? Is she in the well? Little Timmy's in the well? What?
That was a moment, though. He took off. I was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna think something happened to me. Squatch got me. Bear
We
got
did.
me." And you guys definitely picked up that space because you came around that corner like, "What's happening?"
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely interesting. The connectivity with everyone, that's too hard. I'll be honest. I don't think I could lay one particular moment because I did have those times where each individual person, there was something that I took away that was very personal to me. And it's not that I don't want to share it here, but we have limited time. And I think the best thing I could say is if you're interested, start coming into the Friday night veteran lives, reach out to one of us, ask questions. Um, and start preparing to find this journey on your own. We can't encapsulate, we could do a 4-hour video, and I don't think we're going to catch what happens because in each moment when you think you've hit that highlight, another one comes. Um, from the start of the day, Frizz was talking about he was outside. He was the only one outside one morning. And I got up and it was still a little bit dark and I looked out and I didn't see anybody initially. So my first thought is, well, let's what's on the news, what's happening on this little handheld device that I have. And then I happened to look up from the window and I saw someone out there. I wasn't even sure who it was. I just knew one member of this family was out there. I just put the phone away and walked out, you know. And I think that also ties into what's different. You know, I live out in the middle of nowhere as well, but I'll sit inside sometimes and not have that inspiration. I do go out throughout the course of the day, but the moment I woke up and I saw one of my brothers sitting outside, I wanted to be with them. I didn't want that isolation for myself. I wanted to be out there with them. So, um, I can't pick one. Sorry. I don't know
No,
what to
that was
say.
great. Thank
Mama
you.
bear, I can't.
Thank you. Hal?
How one second, I just got a message. Sorry. Our missing member finally got signal and got word out. He is at work today, got called in.
Yeah.
So Sylvester, he sends his love.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Hal?
So this might not make sense to everybody, but to me, it was a standout moment. So my kids are both grown and on their own, and when they were little, it was always really important to me to sit down and have family meals. And so to sit down 3 meals a day and just break bread with family and laugh and joke, that was the biggest thing for me, I think.
Thank you for saying that. I was actually going to mention the meals because that actually held a special place in my heart too, watching you all eat together, break bread.
Yeah.
So thank you. And I'm happy that we were able to do that with you. Chris?
I would say the one of the high points for me was when we were all down there watching um, Spike go pitch in the water. We were all kind of hanging out together and having a good time and relaxing, trying to catch our breath to go back, and that was a good time.
It was a good time. We were not catching our breath. No, it was actually a really great hike. It was steep and yeah, you guys did amazing.
I think maybe
And
some of us were catching our breath.
yeah, I was too a little bit. I was. I was relieved when we got to our destination and it was like, yes, the reward at the end. And I think that's actually a great moment that you bring up because we all did take a break. We sat back, we're sitting on logs. I have a mental picture of Jason, actually, who is unfortunately not with us today. He was sitting, laying on the ground and using a log as a pillow as he's sitting there talking to Chris. And I was like, I loved it. I loved everything about it. The dogs were having a great time. And you're right. Spike was just amazing. I'm like, he's freezing in this water, but there he was wanting to fetch and swim after the stick. So thank you. Thank you for that, Chris. Frizz?
Well, mine's a little bit different. One of the things that I really liked was also one of the things that was the hardest was the night that we all sat around, picked a song, explained why that song was there. That was a vulnerability that I don't think could happen with a bunch of random strangers. We spoke about what it either meant to us or a feeling that it gave us. And to be able to share the story behind that is a vulnerability that I did not expect to be with other uh, grown men and talk about. The camaraderie of the walks and going to that Apple store, not the electronic Apple stores, a real Apple. And the people that we interacted with outside of our group, the old man on the hill or on top of the mountain that built the place, the guy at the Apple store, the the guy that paid for our tickets at the Bigfoot experience were things that I didn't expect, and I'm not used to having people react that way because I usually don't go out of my way to show that I was military. And to have people do that was an experience that I haven't had in a long time. So I truly enjoyed this. It made me not feel empty and alone like I feel 90% of the time. I guess that's it.
Thank you for that, Frizz. Oh my goodness. Guys, I tasked you with one moment. It's really hard. Uh, there are many moments from us all taking group pictures and being silly, for me learning what this means, which is the okay sign. Um, there were so many amazing, heartfelt moments. And yes, Sunny does do some activities at these meetups. You never really know what they are or what they will entail. They're not stressful, they're just go with the flow kind of moments. But they are moments that you take with you. And you're right, there is a level of vulnerability there. And you guys did amazing. And those were moments that we take with us. And it's not every day that we get to share specific parts of ourselves with others. And here we were freely just wanting to share, which is not something that's very common. Most of us live very private lives and we don't often tell people what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and we just kind of deal with our own things. But one of the things that I saw with all of you was this openness, this level of acceptance and safe space to just be you. You were just yourselves. And I loved that for all of you. I had a lot of funny moments at this meetup, from dancing with all of you finally around the campfire. Those were some great moments, from planking with all of you. That's a treat for Sunny. As you see, I do it by myself, right? Unless I'm lucky and Chief's around. And those are great moments too. But we're hitting our 1 hour mark, and I'm going to try to wrap it up for our viewers. But I'm going to go around really quickly with one word of, let me see, where did I want to go with this? If somebody was on the fence about coming, what word would come to mind immediately? Something you would say to them about joining a meetup? Chief?
I would say if you're curious, come into the Friday Night Lives and get to know us. I don't want to tell somebody just jump in blindly, because words are just words, actions speak louder. And I think by getting to know us, by consistently coming into the lives, allows us to get to know one another. That demonstrates our level of support and our level of authenticity, especially the more we show up, the more comfortable we are engaging with one another, which allows us to get to know one another. So I would say get to know us. And if it's a good fit and a good time, absolutely. If you are one of those folks that find yourself in isolation, ask yourself, are you? Like, I didn't even realize how isolated I was. My son told Scooter, and I realized I don't have company, but I do get out and I do go to meetups, and I'm very comfortable in doing so because I've had such a positive experience on all three. Um, but I wouldn't have done it had I not started coming to the lives first to get to know people, because to me, I want to meet real people. I don't want just some fake relationship. So you got to be careful, but come get to know us. That's my response to that.
Thank you, Chief. Clyde?
I would say the exact same thing. Come into the lives, come into Chief's music therapy live, come into Sunny's lives, the veterans' lives, and you will see the family atmosphere that is in this group. You will see the interaction in the chat. You will see the civilian support. It's all together, and it is so huge that, and like I can't remember, one of the guys said it. What you and for me, this was huge. What you see in these lives, the personalities, we're the same people outside. When we all met, we're the same people. It's not a two-faced kind of thing, and that is huge.
Thank you. And after 3.5 days, yeah, you're going to know if it's real or not.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
pretty
it
sure.
doesn't take long.
No, not at all. Scooter? And thank you.
So that kind of cracked me up a little bit. Arlen, the guy who said that was you. You've now confirmed your CRS status. Can't remember shit. Wow. So there's not much I would be able to add to what Chief and Arlen already said. I was at one point just do it, right? Because I went to one and it was so awesome. That enthusiasm was something that I was just like, yes, everybody should. Like should almost be mandatory, because the feeling you get coming away from it, the relationships you built, and then kind of going back. I see you. I got you, Clyde. I got it. I understand. I now understand better the fact that yes, you do kind of have to be at a certain point. You have had to make some kind of start and then get to know people before you can have. I just don't think it would work the same if you just jumped in. Now, if you're on the fence about it, you come in, you're also going to find the one thing I would say that hasn't been brought up. Not only is there in the live that sensation of I have support, there is family, both veteran and civilian, active duty. We have one in the chat. I'm so happy to see him here. But on top of that, daily there's messages that go between so many people, and so it's not just the live, it's that creation of those bonds, and then the sharing of different aspects that brings it in and makes it just so comfortable.
Thank you. Hal?
Yeah, I would just echo what everyone else said. Join the community, get involved in the community, be active in it, see what we're all about. And if you feel compelled, then just go for it.
That's right. Choosing to live life on the sunny side. Um, Thank you. Chris?
Um, I got to go with exactly where Chief went with that. Come to the lives, get to know people before you make a final decision. But if you get to know us, we are exactly who we say we are, and you should have a good time. And by the way, Leaves is in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy you were talking about, Frizz, his name is Haynes.
The veteran. I
Yeah,
actually took a picture with him, and he helped build, I think, all 6
yeah.
of the platforms on the Overlook that we were at. Thank you. Frizz?
You said a word. So I would say that word would be safety. That's what I felt. I felt safe when I was there.
I
I
love that.
usually sit around, I'm on edge. I'm always kind of keeping an eye on everything. And no, I felt safe during this. I felt like whatever, if anything, mental or physical or whatever was to happen, everybody was there to help out. And I liked that. That was a good feeling.
Thank you. And for those of you watching us today, thank you so much for taking this time. Honestly, I can go on and on with questions. This can go on for hours. But and we may revisit this again. We may come back again, with the same group or the next meetup. But this is what I'll say to all of you: get involved. Get involved with your communities. Get involved with your veteran communities. This is a movement. We are bridging the gap. We are breaking stigmas. One of the very first things I set out to do as a civilian about 4 years ago is I got to a social media platform and I saw the problem. There was no connection. Our veterans were isolating with themselves on their personal home front, and then isolating within only the veteran groups. Now, veterans need veterans, but veterans also need civilians. We need connection. We need understanding, and compassion comes with that as well. Um, one of the things that I've reinforced over and over is we need to bridge this gap. We need to bridge this gap. It's going to improve mental health. It's going to improve the support systems that we all need. And over time, this has happened. We've seen it happen. You've heard it happen. You've heard testimony today and how being in participation, as I often say, don't anticipate, participate, show up. You're not just showing up for those that are there. You're showing up for yourselves first and foremost. The reward is for you. It's the connections you're making. And this is what's happened. From day one, when our veterans started trusting Sunny to host a Veterans Live, and it started off with maybe 3 veterans, and here we are today, 2.5 years later, and I'm just so honored, honestly, to be quite honest, to have you all trust in me, believe in me to continuously keep doing this, but you support me. And I too feel loved. I don't just feel protection, but I feel loved. Yes, Chief, did you want to say something?
I did. I would like to also thank you as well from the bottom of my heart, and not just me, but for everyone in the panel today, but specifically with who I am and my mission with Break Stigmas, for also allowing me to be there and do what I do, and providing a safe environment where those that like to or would like to know more have a place to get information and test it out for themselves, because there have been tremendous results, like excellent results with pain, sleep, great feedback, and that wouldn't be possible. And I, for one, wouldn't trust it from a lot of other places. So thank you for providing that safe place where we can make healing happen.
Thank you. And I'm glad you brought that up. I was getting there. I was getting there. Break stigmas. With if you're not familiar now, please familiarize yourselves with www.breakstigmas.com. That is a nonprofit that both myself and 420 Chief started in 2024. We're very excited about Break Stigmas. It's the combination of the Sunnyside of Freedom mission and the 420 Chief mission coming together to break these stigmas. These stigmas include Veterans Lives Matter, Ending 22. If you're not familiar with 22, get to know us, because we are bringing awareness every single day. That is the veteran lives that are projected to be taking their own lives, but this number is actually doubled and rising. Growing concern, being able to talk about PTSD and breaking the silence and talking about it, because it's okay to not be okay, and being able to talk about feelings, a really not a very welcomed word within the veteran community. As our friend Scooter had mentioned previously, we don't talk about feelings. What are feelings? You don't have any. So, we're definitely breaking silence all over the place. And then, of course, I think I forgot one of the stigmas, bridging the gap, allowing your civilian friends to enter your world. There is healing there, guys. There's healing there for them, and there's healing there for you. Leading in love and leading the way and understanding what that means. That means that, we let down a little bit and say, it's going to be hard to trust, but what the hell? What do you got to lose? You're worth it. So keep investing in yourselves and invest in others. And you're right, Chief, being able to talk about plant medicine, which is one of the stigmas as well, that we cover, and the space to be able to not be judgment free. It's judgment free, and have open conversation about the healing properties, because we want to have that type of space to say, you know what? I was an alcoholic, and this is what saved my life. This is what's changed my life, story after story. And if you guys aren't familiar with what it is that I'm talking about, check out some of my veteran interviews, and there'll be more to follow. A lot of our veterans have a story. They all have a story, and a lot of them sound very similar. They leaned into alcohol because alcohol became a part of their lives while in service. That was the norm. And then you come back into the civilian world, this chaotic world, and you lean into it even heavier to try to cope, not overcome, cope. And it's not until something tragic or terrible or you've lost it all that you actually have to find a way to keep reaching up until you can overcome. And yes, many have found healing in plant medicine, because there are healing properties that help with anxiety, depression, PTSD, allowing someone to sleep. I mean, I can go on and on and on about this specific topic, but I will just say it here and now. Sunny does not allow for alcohol at these meetups, but I welcome anyone to be themselves and share their experiences of healing through plant medicine. And as I'm headed out, I want to say thank you to everyone that's watching today. If you yourself are a veteran and listening to these testimonies of what it is to attend a Sunnyside of Freedom meetup, please reach out to me. Visit me on my TikTok platform. I do host a Veterans Live every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Get to know them. I think it was 420 Chief who was emphasizing, get to know them and then get to know me. And over time, you're going to be like, oh my God, I love these guys. I need to meet them. And that's what happens, because I can probably tell you that if you reach out to me and say, hey, I want to come, it's not that I'm discriminating in any way, shape, or form. I want our veterans in attendance. That's who they're for. But I need to know who you are. You need to know who we are. And it needs to feel right. And they've all emphasized the power just behind being a part and engaging in these specific conversations that we host. So to all of you, I say thank you, my friends. Sunny's already working on meetup number 4. I know how sad and heartbroken we are. It's a week ago today, we all parted ways and feeling a little heartbroken, like we left family behind. But just know that I will continue on my mission. I appreciate every single one of you continuously inspiring me, motivating me, and supporting me to keep moving forward, even when it's feeling challenging to do so. I plan to do just that. So stay tuned for our viewers for meetup number 4. Don't know where it's going to be just yet, but I have big plans this year. And stay tuned for Break Stigmas as well, our nonprofit. I do plan to see amazing things happen in 2025 with 420 Chief as we host even bigger events. So in the meantime, stay sunny, stay spicy, always make it count, lead in love, lead the way. Be the difference you want to see in others. Don't ever let anyone dim your light, and don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't do something. I'm living proof of that. I am a civilian who hosts veteran lives and unites veterans across the nation. With that, I say much love, much respect. Have an amazing day. And don't forget, share your smile. That's how we do.